lot more to celebrate. And thank God that we are already nearing the end of the year. It's a good thing. And of course, waking up on the good side of this wonderful Saturday morning is another blessing, so to say. It's the Break of Dawn People's Review here on 32FM 94.9. And it's right about time to get up from your bed. And let's get into the details of what the papers, the national dailies, are saying this morning. Quite interesting headlines I've seen this morning. Of course, we're going to be taking a look at the Punch newspaper, the Guardian, The Nation, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, quite a number of papers that we're going to be taking a look at. My name is Gbolabo, famous school, and we'll also have the analysis being drawn by Austin Odumi this morning. But quickly, let's look at the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. And of course, we take this one. Cross River doctors' whereabouts unknown 5 months after abduction. I haven't given up on Tinubu, enough economy. All right. This says, I haven't given up on Tinubu, though economy tight. For look at Daramola, how I learned shoemaking in prison and 150,000 naira monthly. That's according to an ex-convict. Afghan 2004 affected my Ghana's place, says Kanu. And of course, more says, don't hand over Port Harcourt refinery to cabal. NLC wants federal government, and it appears that this is the big story here. How Emefiele used process to acquire banks. That's according to CBN investigator. And more stories here says cash scarcity leaves shoppers, travelers stranded. ATMs, banking hours run dry. Why I practice traditional medicine? All right, reciting contations. Christian cleric is coming up with that explanation. Sad tales of Nigerians snapped into police detention and subdued cries for justice. We also have this one. Fresh Porters Grand Rivers NLC youth fought Tinubu's peace deal. CBN lifts ban on cryptocurrency transactions. And still on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, we also have this headline. Police arrest 487 suspected criminals in Ebonyi. And of course, let's take a look at more. Family of Mason drama accuses pastor of stolen probe. All right. This says Enugu police arrest man with fake Naira notes. All of that appears to be coming from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. And before we leave the paper, PDP Lamido trade words over river crisis. That's rivers crisis. And of course, we go to another paper very quickly. We also look at the Nation newspaper this morning. Interesting headlines. I will be fair to all. Tinubu assures Nigerians. INEC to conduct rerun by election into NAS state assemblies. That's for February 3rd. And Rivers crisis. Stakeholders reject Abuja Peace Accord. Cross River beneficiaries laud First Lady for RHIESS. Okay. Bayelsa advocates structured federalism to make states more viable. Edo 2024 group draws or throws weight behind Ighodolo's candidacy. Amor says Obaseki signs 342 billion naira 2024 Edo appropriation bill into law. Anambra traders protests extortion, shop sealing. And more stories says CBN probe Emefiele used process to acquire bank. To acquire bank. That's according to an investigator, Obazi. And more says, Yuletide, I will be fair to all Nigerians. It appears that's it's in all the papers this morning. That's coming from President Tinubu. Kano federal government missed opportunity to free Southeast. It's coming from a bishop. And looking at the sporting side of the Nation newspaper this morning, Nigeria ranked 42nd globally and 6th in Africa. I didn't receive 800 million naira for prosecution of 2019 election, says ex-Kwara APC chair. All right, before we leave the Nation, let's also take a look at this one. Why I may relocate to Nigeria. That's a bit of entertainment. Buy house in Lagos. American rapper Roddy Rich is coming up with that. All right, we always delve into another paper. Let's take a look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. They're also screaming headlines. we have this one. INEC fixes rerun by elections for February the 3rd. Federal government declare holidays for Christmas, New Year celebrations. Reps to conduct forensic audit on failed Nigeria Air. After, we'll take another one. And of course, ramping up food security with dry season farming. And that appears to be on the sideline of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Primate Ayodele releases 91-page prophecy for 2024. Yuletide, NSCDC deploys 2,350 personnel in Osun. Makinde targets 80% budget performance in 2024. Former Speaker Dogara loses mother. And of course, still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, we also have this one. Rivers crisis. Elders sue Tinubu for Bara. INEC orders. Zamfara government World Bank partner on College of Health Science renovation. And enforce anti-grazing law. CYE charters Southwest governors. And that appears to be some of the stories making the headline on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. All right, we'll take more review of the papers and we go straight to the Daily Trust in order to take a quick swipe or take a quick look at what the Daily Trust newspaper has for us this morning. Blackout in Borno, Yobe as Boko Haram destroys electricity towers. CBN lifts ban on cryptocurrency transactions and banks. And the story saying the Central Bank of Nigeria has reviewed its position on the ban of cryptocurrency transactions in Nigeria. The Apex Bank said this yesterday. All right, we also have more here. And this says Detroit prisons close in on 26 March losing. All right, strict record. That's a bit of sports there. And of course, still on the front page of the Daily Trust. Let's see if we could get more headlines there this morning. We also have this from Supreme Court verdict. Distractions over. Time to redouble efforts. That's coming from Umba, Enugu governor. And this also says, I never knew I would be recognized by a prestigious outlet like Zuma. And that is coming from Daso. And more says, behold, all right, 2023 car off of the year. Okay, we'll take two more before leaving the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. And this says, 2027 Foreign Affairs Minister eyes Bauchi governorship. Rivers crisis, PDP threatens to sanction Lamido orders over utterances. All of that are making the headlines on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Quickly, we have the This Day as well. And there is a number of top stories here on the front page of This Day newspaper. Supreme Court verdict, distractions over time to redouble efforts, says Mba, that's Enugu State governor. And of course, more here says Nigeria reaffirms commitment to OPEC after Angola's exit from oil cartel. Mechanical completion of Port Harcourt refinery, NNPCL's Christmas gift to Nigerians. Crisis looms in Lagos health sector as Joheso threatens strike. Group supports Asue Ogodolo power shift to Edo Central District in 2024. National Orientation Agency condemns extortion by rogue police, affirms commitment to real Nigerian values. Of course, we do have more headlines there on the front page of the This Day newspaper. We'll take this one, a bit of business. It says, despite challenges, okay, talking about automobile forges on at 44 years. And we take this one to WeTech holds Women Tech Entrepreneurs Conference. And Supreme Court now has full bench. The Senate confirms 11 new justices. And of course, this is some of the headlines here on the front page of the This Day newspaper. Right now we have the Cable NG also. There are a number of headlines on the front page of the Cable NG this morning. CBN lifts ban on cryptocurrency transactions, issue guidelines. Tinubu, we are committed to enthroning a better society for citizens. We declare, or federal government declares public holidays for Christmas, New Year celebrations. More stories says France withdraws troops from Niger Republic, closes embassy. And we have more. Two women, baby trapped on building collapse. As building collapses in Lagos, two women, baby trapped as building collapses in Lagos. And we have this one, Margaret Oguntala becomes president of NSC, first ever female leader. And more says Supreme Court affirms Peter and Bars, Enugu governor. Federal government resumed payment of arrears to NPower beneficiaries, says Betta Edo. And of course, I will take a look at more headlines here on the News NG, Cable NG. And let's see this on BC Akonde. APC, not like PDP, opposition party has military mindset. Power generation to drop by 6,676 megawatt as Egbin station shuts down for maintenance. And more story says Margaret Oguntala. All right, we had that earlier. We'll take some more before leaving. All right, NSCDC arrests 5 for robbing hotels, POS operators in Rivers State. Carpenter husband remanded for alleged murder in Lagos. All of that are making the news here on the front page of the Cable NG. All right, we now join Austin Dimo for analysis this morning. Okay, I don't know if Austin can hear me. Hello, Austin, good morning.
Hello, Gbolabo, good morning. I can hear you loud and clear.
Fantastic. Okay, it's great to have you. How has it been? How's it going?
Thank you for having me. It's been going well.
All right, it's good to hear your voice and it's good to have you join us virtually this morning. All right, quickly, we're going into the analysis. It's still the Break It Down People's Review. And of course, in case you're just waking up or just joining us, it's 32 FM 94.9. And Austin Edumi is joining us virtually this morning to look at the front pages of the papers. All right, Austin, I want us to start off with Emefiele. This man appears to be going through a lot. Even though some Nigerians will say he deserves it because of what he made some of them. It made many Nigerians, even myself, yourself, had to go through at a point in time. Now, there's an investigator coming up with so much revelations. It's quite mind-boggling, and of course, it's baffling, some of these revelations. He said that Emefiele used process to acquire a bank. And let's look at the report. It said a report of the special investigation into the activities of the Central Bank of Nigeria has accused the immediate past governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, of using ill-gotten wealth to acquire banks for himself through process. Now, how do we address this? He also said, this investigator also said, as a matter of fact, that Buhari was not aware of all of these, that it was Buhari's aide, who appears to be his niece, his nephew, so to say, as the one who was giving the go-ahead. Now, how do we look at this? The spate of corruption that has come out to the bear in terms of these investigations into the activities of the CBN while Emefiele was there.
Yes, Emefiele is going through a lot because it cost a lot as far as the economy of Nigeria is concerned. That is what you get, especially when you have a CBN governor who believes that he can mismanage the economy of the country based on supervisory negligence of Mr. President at that particular point in time. It's quite unfortunate. We have a situation whereby investigation has revealed that close to 600 pseudo accounts were operated by the CBN governor, and he allegedly acquired about 3 banks. Of course, we wouldn't want to mention them for media purposes. By proxy, he acquired those banks by proxy. This is the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria, where you see public office holder not being able to distinguish or differentiate between public office and what should be personal interest. By the time there is conflict of interest, it is the people that suffer. Emefiele engages in a lot of policies and assault. It was just like an experimental period, especially as the CPN governor, as it relates to monetary policy. He didn't really do well, and I think history will hold him accountable for that. There are a lot of funds that need to be recovered as a result of Emefiele and his crony. We all knew at that time that President Muhammadu Buhari was not in charge. He was never in charge. The manner in which the Naira coloring was concerned shows that the president was never in charge. There is one Yusuf that was based in Kaduna, a president nephew also, who later became the president aide. This was a man that was selling recharge card on the street of Kaduna before President Muhammadu Buhari became the president. As we currently speak now, is a multi-billionaire. So these are what you find when people decide to play around the psyche of the people. President Muhammadu Buhari was not in charge, and Emefiele decided to do whatever he likes, thinking that he will get away with it. I think at the end of the day, this will not just be like a media trial. The federal government through the EFCC should secure a vibrant commitment to retrieving some of the money. At the end of the day, if Emefiele goes to jail, I stand to benefit nothing. And I guess we also stand to benefit nothing. But some of the trillions of naira misappropriated, squandered under him, stashed in private bank accounts, if the federal government can recover some of this money, of course, they could be deployed into other critical areas of the economy, because the economy was mismanaged. I've never heard it in the history of Nigeria as corrupt as we thought we were before the Buhari administration, that the CBN will continue to print money through ways and means to finance deficit known to the CBN alone, taking unilateral decision by Emefiele just to submit to the cronies of Mr. President at that particular point in time. And another variation as far as infraction was concerned during Emefiele was the idea of collecting foreign denominated loan and using our foreign reserve to collateralize those loans. I've never heard that in the history of the country. So you said in your opening statement that Emefiele seems to be going through a lot. And I will say he has to go through a lot because it cost a lot. It cost a lot of pain for Nigeria. He almost destroyed the economy of Nigeria using the instrumentality of lack of adequate and proper supervision. Corporate governance was thrown into the wind under Emefiele. CBN lacked corporate governance. Decisions were not being made unanimously. The CBN governor unilaterally takes decision. Meanwhile, he has about 4 deputy governors. So it was unfortunate. I urge the EFCC to carry out diligent investigation. This issue must be properly investigated. Thank God we have a special investigator. The report and revelation is gradually coming out. We don't want the revelation to just come out for nothing. We want something to come out at the end of the day. Because this tradition in Nigeria
sorry,
must
Austin,
end.
shouldn't the ex-president be also questioned? Because it appears that Emefiele was just the figurehead who was doing the bidding. You know, that was the assumption many people had. He was doing the bidding of some big and mighty in power. Now, if Emefiele is singled out for punishment, are we saying that he acted alone? From what we've been hearing from the CBN investigator.
He didn't act alone. How I wish the former president can be called to account. But you know, between you and I, that is a tall order in Nigeria. It does not mean that it cannot happen. That it has never happened before does not mean that it can't happen. But it's really a difficult thing when it comes to the Nigerian factor. Emefiele did not act alone. And I don't want to believe that it was also a rubber stamp. A rubber stamp, he bought 3 banks. A rubber stamp, he bought a house of over 1.2 billion in the city of Ibadan. In Ibadan, he bought a house of over 1.2 billion. You know, anytime we have to talk about Emefiele, I keep saying this. I know a lot of people will wonder. A lot of people don't pay attention to it, but this is what I know. I know it for a fact. He was a rubber stamp. He bought over 100 buses, 100 buses for campaign, wanting to be the president of Nigeria and still holding the office of the CBN governor. And you call that man is a low ranger. You call the man someone who does not know what to do, or somebody who is a rubber stamp. He bought a farm for over 100 million. That has never really happened before. Before then, we saw Adebayo Adelabu, who is close to us there. He wanted to contest for the office of the governor of Oyo State. He had to resign as a deputy governor of the CBN several months before that time, just to avoid a situation of conflict of interest. So that is what we are saying. I don't want to believe completely that he was a rubber stamp. Of course, some people dictated to him what he ought to do. That was because the president was never in charge. That was exactly what happened. So you can't say, oh, he did everything. He also did that to his advantage for a CBN governor to operate close to 600 accounts, studio accounts. Well, how do you marry that? He was a rubber stamp in office, and he was amassing wealth for himself. He got so much money to the extent that he felt that he could now become the president of Nigeria, contest for the office of the president while still serving as a CBN governor. Come on, I don't want us to whip up unnecessary sentiment as far as the issue of Emefiele is concerned.
All right, let's also take a look at this particular headline. Cash scarcity leaves shoppers, travelers stranded. ATM banking halls run dry. The ATM is in Oyo State was, as of yesterday, totally dry. People couldn't withdraw money. People were stranded. And, of course, the POS operators were ripping people off. You had to pay more to get cash as less as 5,000 naira. You have to pay, sometimes you have to pay 200 naira as some of the charging fee. Now, if you look at this, do we have a Kodoso as a Pro Max of what we have in Emefiele? Because we can't say Emefiele is that bad, and of course what he did in office had a trickling effect, and that's what we're still going through right about now. Shouldn't we have some kind of succor as the festive periods are coming? It used to be fuel scarcity. Now it is cash crunch. Because I do know that in previous years, once you have festivities like this, it's always a case of long queues, people waiting to get your tank fuel. But now you have instances of cash crunch. You don't even have access to your cash, and even the transfer thing is all log jam. You're telling you that your pin isn't correct because of the network. Now, how do we look at this particular one? Can Cardoso do more than all of this? Emefiele is the one who has actually caused all of these instances.
Well, it's also a combination of so many factors. We have the ripple effect factor, which is very critical. Don't also forget, there is no magic that can be performed due to the Nigerian factor. You understand what I mean?
Right.
But from investigation so far, I don't think it is that bad compared to what we experienced the last time. It is also the attitude of our people. Based on what happened last time, that some people had millions of naira in their accounts and they could not even withdraw ordinary 5,000 naira cash. So in the build up to this season, people decide to maximize the little cash they have by simply shunning the bank, stashing their money in their various homes. So who do you blame for that? I also blame the CBN, because the judgment of the Supreme Court came November 30th. And at the end of the day, there were no much awareness at all. The CBN could have done more to create serious awareness. And at some point, personally, I was also hoping that the president could address the issue, because the body language of this current president shows that he does not have anything to do with old Naira note or new Naira notes. He simply believes that the note can coexist. But there's no serious awareness, because the initial deadline by the Supreme Court was December 31st, 2023. Now, before then, a month before that time, they gave a contrary judgment or pronouncement that it can continue to coexist without any time ceiling. Then a lot of people have already had the mindset of December 31st. That is the reason why you see panic here and there. So the level of awareness as far as is concerned was very low. It's not as if the commercial bank were holding money. Customers simply decide to shun the bank because once beaten, twice shy. They don't want to experience what actually happened the last time, especially for people who really have money, who run businesses and they have money. They feel that if I take my money to the bank, won't I be stranded again? Won't I be stuck again? So they decide to look at the local method of banking. That is what is affecting us. So I don't think there is any magic. There is also a trust gap between the government and the people. So a lot of people do not believe that that's the way they deceive us. So the last time that was what happened. They asked us to bring our old naira notes. We brought our old naira notes. The new one we didn't see. It got to a time we were even begging for the old one that we had deposited. The CBN said they had destroyed everything. And now you just suddenly discover that the old note was more than the new note. As at the time they mop up the old notes, by this time last year, CBN had over 500 billion, 500 billion raw cash, meat, 1,500. Are you now telling me that was what CBN will have destroyed? So which means that some people deliberately created the problem to profit from it at the detriment of the common man. Did you know how many people that lost their life during that time? People who have money in their accounts, the hospital, they don't accept transfer. You want to obtain any service, they don't accept transfer. Everybody wants cash. So that was the situation we find ourselves then. And don't also forget the Nigerian factor too. Immediately the cash issue was sorted, all of us went back to cash. We abandoned transfer. We abandoned electronic form of transaction until this time again. And we know that our technological infrastructure is very weak in the country. So where do we go from here? I think the issue of cash ought not to have been added to the already worse situation that an average Nigerian is facing, especially at this critical time. So I believe that the CBN should be more proactive going forward. Cardoso just came, but the fact that he just came, after some time, will no longer hold water because he had to get to business and right the wrong.
Right. Conditional cash transfer. Federal government disburses 25,000 naira each to 3.5 million Nigerians. Says it. I wonder why I'm not among this Nigerian that got 25,000 naira. I really do not know the yardstick. But then if you look at what the government has been doing with the conditional transfer, there's a lot to it. And even the media, sometimes you're asking questions. So I wonder what the ordinary man on the street feels. Now, what do we think? 3.5 million Nigerians got 25,000 naira. I'm yet to see Nigerians coming out to say that they indeed got that money. But then what do you think this government intends to do? Because you're saying that they want to mitigate the impact of fuel subsidy removal. Are they really doing that? Because many Nigerians are still groaning.
Give a man a fish, you only feed him for a moment. But if you teach him how to fish, you probably may be feeding him for a lifetime. This current government should look at the possibility of enhancing the social register. There is nothing wrong in having a social register. For example, you understand, there is nothing wrong in it. Just like advanced country when they have credit card and some other social facility that they enjoy from their government. But the idea of simply reeling out billions of naira that has been dispersed, and most often time, you find it difficult to see people attesting to the fact that they actually received this money. That was what happened during the Buhari era. Buhari was the president that doled out highest money in the history of the country in terms of social register. Buhari was the highest. But you cannot feel the impact. The more money we claim to have pumped to the people, the poorer the people become, which means that fundamentally something is wrong somewhere. Like you just mentioned, what is the yardstick? Apart from just giving us the figure, we need to see newspaper publication of the names of the beneficiary, state by state. We need to see them. We need people to come out. You understand? Like, for example, now 13th month have been paid in Oyo State. A lot of people have confirmed that has been paid. Salary has been paid. A lot of workers have confirmed that their salary have been paid. It shouldn't be something that we have to start looking for and say who are the beneficiary of all of this. This was what destroyed the conditional cash transfer under the Buhari administration. But now this state government has come. I thought that things would be done differently. But unfortunately, I think it's still almost like the same way. We want to see beneficiary. We want to see genuine and sincere commitment that this money actually get to the targeted audience, the targeted beneficiary. Because what happens most often time is that members of political party and political party leaders, they will put the name of their people. I know people who collected 30,000 naira in 3 months, 30,000 naira under the Buhari administration for doing nothing. Just because somebody somewhere, one honorable somewhere, put their name there. It shouldn't be so. If we are targeting the poor, let's target the poor. We shouldn't continue to say, oh, because I know somebody somewhere or what have you. Let the government do something separately for those that are working, which is the working class. Make life better for the people. So if care is not taken, we'll just be hearing of these billions of naira, and at the end of the day, the purpose will be defeated. Because the purpose of conditional cash transfer is to cushion the effects, adverse and volatile economic effect on the livelihood of the people. Once that is not achieved at the end of the day, the purpose is defeated. It's just like our GDP, it's just like our budget. The government will roll out a budget. At the end of the day, the life of the people will not be impacted. That is lack of good governance. So the government must have genuine intention. They must be committed. They must be purposeful about really identifying the most vulnerable amongst us. Nigeria is very tough. The economy is very tough. But there are still the most vulnerable. We can't deny that fact. There are still the most vulnerable. The Holy Book says that the poor shall continue to be in your midst, that the poor shall not cease from your midst. Nobody is saying that the government should make everybody rich overnight. But you must take conscious effort to make life more meaningful for the people in terms of delivery of the dividends of democracy, principally by creating an enabling environment for the people to thrive.
Now, Austin, who will quell the inferno coming from Rivers State? This is getting out of hand. And of course, you're having so much individuals having interest in the states on this. Politics is the in thing, as I see in Rivers State right about now. Stakeholders reject Abuja Peace Accord. And now they are saying that it's a sham embarrassment for them. Looking at the peace accord brokered by President Bola Tinubu, they're rejecting it, saying that the 25 members of the House of Assembly who left, that their seats are vacant and the budget has been passed. Now, the budget was passed by just about 4 members who are loyal to the governor. They are saying that it's only the judiciary that can alter that, and they will not accept that the 25 members also go through the budget's passage itself. This crisis itself, does Wike need to come out very clean and hands off Rivers politics since he's the FCT minister? What exactly can be done? Because I know that Tinubu has tried to play the big brother, and of course he doesn't want to delve so much into the kind of politics going on right about now as the president of the country. There's so much issues too he needs to deal with nationally. Now, how then does this inferno in Rivers State be put to a halt so that it doesn't get into much more disaster for many people in the state itself?
Well, last week I posited that it is only Wike and Fubara that could solve the problem. That presidential intervention may not really work well because we have a president who is also a politician. So we must not forget that. That's the truth of the matter. Now, some people are saying that Wike should answer. Politically, that is not also possible. Some of these things are easier said than done. It is easier to get to power and say you want to kill God for that reason. You don't want God for that reason. But just like the proverbial saying, if he favors you, it becomes normal. If it does not favor you, it becomes abnormal. You understand?
Right.
At every point in time, all the states in the country, even the office of the president, some people definitely will be instrumental to some other people getting to power. Those people, those elders that are supporting Fubara now, they have their own candidate in the governorship election, in the last governorship election in Rivers State, and their candidate was not Fubara. So now, because there is crisis, which I feel that Wike didn't do well by not managing the issue. Wike should have done better by managing, because this issue will really get messy. That's just the truth. You have a governor that a lot of people are telling that you have executive power, you can do anything and get away with it. just like Wike also did and got away with so many things. So Wike, in my view, should have also tread softly in such a way that peace will return. Because a lot of people are drumming the drum of war for the governor and say, you have the power, you have the resources, nobody can question you. Some people even heard the rally and say, don't listen to Mr. President. You understand the point I'm making? It is not only in Rivers that crisis is happening between a godson and a godfather. You understand?
Should he be
but
head
one
of
thing in
that
Nigeria,
particular statement, a godson and what did you call it, godfather? Should he be head of?
He shouldn't be head of Gbolabo. I just told you that in Nigerian politics, some people are instrumental to the rising to power of some people. That's just the truth. In Nigerian politics, it's just the truth. If Fubara spent 8 years, will he just go home and sleep? He will also bring somebody. Be watching out for Obaseki next year. Be watching out for Obaseki that said, though it's not Lagos, be watching out for him. So one thing I discovered in Nigerian politics is that those who are speaking against godfatherism, they themselves want to be godfather. You know, Wike joined Obaseki to fight Oshomole. Can you still remember? He joined Obaseki to fight Oshomole. Now his own fate has befallen him, and I don't think Wike will be the last person. In Nigeria, the citizens tend to support the underdog, the person that we feel that is weak among them. That is whom we support. Now, let me tell you my perspective about the Abuja truce. The Abuja truce was not properly done. Personally, I take exception to it. One, let me start with President Bola Tinubu. What I think he should have done, he should have also the issue of commissioners represented. Who sacked them? Who sacked them that will now represent them? People voluntarily resign from a cabinet and you are telling the governor to represent them. Represent them to who? That, in my view, that shouldn't have been endorsed. Secondly, the president for the first time should have even advised that the 28 members that defected go back to your original political party. You can fight and achieve anything from your former political party. I don't know whether you are getting me. Last week, I said it on this platform. I said the 27 members that defected, they did it in a rush. They should have waited. Because if they had waited in the PDP and you know where their loyalty lies, some of this problem would have emanated. That is the fault that I fought President Bola Tinubu. Now, I also fought the governor. The governor should have protested against some of these clauses. He should have expressed his reservation. He signed. A lot of people are coming out now. First of all, they speculated that the signature was superimposed, that he did not sign. Later, the governor came out to say that he signed. Some people said he signed under duress. They said he was forced to sign. I wonder how a governor can be forced to sign. That is number one. The governor that was forced in Aso Rock to sign, maybe they put a gun to his head to sign. The same governor went to a private university in the state to deliver a lecture and climbed the podium to say that no price is too big to pay for peace. Was he also at gunpoint at that level?
But the question, the governor, Austin, sorry to butt in, but the question some Nigerians will ask is that why is Wike that powerful? He's handling a ministry as big as FCT. FCT has municipal areas and, of course, councils that he should concentrate on. Why pay so much attention to a state where you have a governor, a constituted authority? Can't he just hands off the power that he feels he has over the state? Because that appears to be the underlying factor here. The Wike factor is plain volume here.
See, Gbolabo, you know that a lot of us that are talking, most people are always speculating. In short, some of the Nigerian lawyers, their licenses are supposed to be withdrawn over this issue of Wike. Because the way and manner they talk about this issue, majority of us were not there at the Aso Rock meeting. Majority of us too were not there when Wike and Fubara were agreeing. You know, I told you earlier, I said it's easier said than done. When it favors you, it becomes normal. When it does not favor you, it's easy now to tell Wike, face Abuja, Forget about River State. But the same discussion will still come out 8 years' time when Fubara spent 8 years. For example, now the governor of your state will finish his 8 years. Are you now saying that based on Nigerian politicians that we know, he will just go home and sleep and say, I'm not interested in who become my successor? Everybody cannot behave like President Muhammadu Buhari, who said that I have a candidate, but if I mention the name of the candidate, they will assassinate him. That was the first thing the president said that time. Later, he was giving his own alleged candidate was giving him presidential jet to fly up and down, only to remove shock from his leg at the venue of the primary. I don't know whether you are getting what I'm saying. This issue of leave him alone, no God for that reason, let him continue to have, is easier said than done. Politicians don't reason that way. In all of this issue, I still blame Wike, I blame Fubara, and I feel that it is two of them that can end this race. There is also a crisis in Benue State. Look at what the secretary to the government of the federation said. He said it took Autumn 3 years to fight me. But Reverend Father Aliyah, it took him just 3 weeks to start fighting me. You understand? Wike couldn't manage the issue very well. The issue of godfatherism is all over the country. But they couldn't manage their own very well. I don't know why it was like that. But Fubara too must tread with caution. Because at the end of the day, when the shifts are done, it will remain only him. The cases that are in court, everybody is saying now, oh, let the judicial process, let it take its course. Let the law take its course. We don't know how the law will end. At the end of the day, when the judgment comes now, we start abusing the Supreme Court. And I think the president too must be very careful. In Odo State, they called the president. In Itabe, they said he didn't do well. In River State, they called the president. In Itabe, they said he didn't do well. Now they are calling him in Benue State. Mr. President is not a headmaster. He should focus on his duty. When we talk about political solution to a crisis, it means that we will need to brush aside some aspect of the law. That is the essence of a political situation. Why are we calling the federal government to apply political solution for Nnamdi Kanu's case? Is the case not in court? The case is in court. So when we talk about political solution, it means that certain things have to be suspended. It means that they have to be compromised. So Wike must compromise as far as this issue is concerned. The governor of Rivers State must also compromise. The idea of people drumming support, look at the protest today. There is no way that type of protest will hold without the connivance of the governor. The governor will be aware. It's just a matter of time. 8 years is just around the corner. The highest he can get is to get a second time. But he must also be very careful so that what he fears most will not also be falling. Because the table turns, even in Nigerian politics. The table has turned for Wike now. I know Wike will be lamenting, will be regretting wherever he is as I speak to you now. Because the table has turned for him. He was like an almighty in the PDP once upon a time. The same Wike now is getting closer to a situation where he might not even be able to get it to Port Harcourt. So these are issues. Even the case between Ganduje and Kwankwaso, it was not this early. I believe that these gentlemen did not manage these differences very well. Whatever the case may be, the Wike should respect himself as the elderly as far as this case is concerned. He will have to need to let go of some issue.
Okay. All right, we have to pay some bills now, and we'll be back very shortly afterwards. Please do stay with us.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
Maggie. On the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie came to me.
12 spicy suya, 11 rishi.
10 wraps on my mind, 9 for the road.
8 plates of unkwabi, 7 pepper soups, 6 sizzling snails, 5 fried fish,
4 cocoa bangos, 3 party jollof, 2 giz dodo, and 4 with a goosey.
The reason to season with Maggie.
Cook the difference.
Mọ́mì wa, ṣáwọn ọmọ yín fẹ́ràn mílíkì? Ṣé ẹ fẹ́ gbọ́? Milo Active Go ní mílíkì ìdá 20 tàbí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ló ń bẹ nínú Milo fún àwọn ọmọ yín. Tí ẹ bá sì fẹ́ kí ó ṣe yọ̀yọ̀yọ̀ sí, ẹ lè po mílíkì mọ́ ọ sí. Milo, okun láti tẹ̀síwájú.
Milo! Get ready to light up your December with a Fuse Festival brought to you by Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers. Enjoy a day filled with lots of food, music, games, shopping, freebies, and faji on December 23, 2023 at the Live Sport Entertainment in Lekki. Watch the grand finale of the Fuse Talent Show live, where we unveil Nigeria's future stars in music, dance, fashion, and tech. And that's not all. Your favorite music artist, Bloody Civilian, Fields, Adekunle Gold, and NSG will be rocking the Fuse stage with electrifying performances. Register for free today at the Stanbic IBTC Events app. The Fuse Festival is powered by Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey. And when you add plenty of vegetables like efo, ugu, and season with the rich taste of North seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
ẹ̀yin èwe ṣé ẹ ti ṣetán láti ní ìrírí baba kérésì tí ò lẹ́gbẹ́ lọ́dún yìí. Baba kérésì 32 FM dé padà tirẹ̀ tẹ̀bùn kàǹkà. Àríyá àti ìgbádùn fún ọjọ́ 23 gbáko tó ń tẹ̀bùn tí ò níye bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ kejì di ọjọ́ 24 oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2023. Gbogbo ayé ní Bond Mall, Olúsànyà bus stop, Ring Road, Ìbàdàn. Ẹgbẹ̀rún méjì péré lọ́mọ kan. Aago 10 àárọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ ni fada kérésì ó ti wà ń kalẹ̀ láti ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ àbí fún àlàyé síwájú. Ẹ pè Oyin sórí 0813-125-1915 tàbí Sùnbọ̀ sórí 0908-473-8279. Ẹ wá gbọ́ o, yàtọ̀ sí àpò ẹ̀bùn tí baba kérésì 32 FM yóò fún ọmọ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Àǹfààní ẹ̀bùn tún lọ sálálú lásìkò yìí kó tó oríire lórí rédíò láago 4 kọjá ìṣẹ́jú 10 sí 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́ lójoojúmọ́. Gbogbo ọmọ tó bá ti pè wọlé ó máa gbẹ̀bùn kààyà bíi púlọ̀tì ilẹ̀, ẹ̀rọ ìléwọ́ táàbù, ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́, àpò ìrẹsì, àwọn ohun èlò ilé electronics àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Àwọn onígbọ̀wọ́ baba kérésì 32 FM ọdún yìí ni Hallelujah Oil, Right Foods, Delight Chin Chin, Denabits Homes and Properties, RC Cola, Tiwa the Wise Monkey, Letiji Properties, Boom Drinks, iShow Gadgets, La Casera, Crunchy Cheese Ball, àti Fan Me.
Nínú ọdún tí bẹ́ẹ̀ láyé ti kérésì lọ́yàtọ̀.
Golden Chance Lotto. Shey you dey gbadun games? Shey you dey play Lotto? Shey you go like to play Lotto without stressing? You no go kiosks. You fit no even play online. Make you no worry for data. Golden Chance Lotto dey here for you. Make you dial *7005# with your MTN line for any phone to play and win big. You fit even check games results and you go collect wetin you win with the USSD. Play any of Golden Chance Lotto indoor and Ghana games. No forget, our indoor games dey easy to win. Golden Chance Lotto don give you a better way to become a millionaire. No forget, *7005#.
Maggie. On the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie gave to me
12 spicy suya, 11 rishi,
10 wraps of my mind, 9 for the road,
8 plates of unkwabi, 7 pepper soups, 6 sizzling snails, 5 fried fish,
4 cocoa bangos, 3 party jollof, 2 giz dodo.
Reason to season with Maggie. Cook the difference.
Ojú ti là tọmọdé tàgbà ló máa yí sólà wọn náà wòye tó fi ń repo sínú jẹnẹrétọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ ọ̀hún epo ti tẹlomi ìdó ń gbèsè wòye tó fi ń sáfìsì ẹ̀ tó bá dẹnu kọlẹ̀ ó sáà ti ń gbọ́ nípa Novẹ́ Solar iléeṣẹ́ tó mójúlẹ́jà sólà tó ń lágbára oòrùn iná sólà tí kìí ṣe dákúdájí iná rẹ̀ kìí jáde nítàn mọ́ Novẹ́ Solar tó ń yọ ní lọ́fìn ooru àbádì àti kíkùn yomoyomo ẹ̀fọn ẹ̀yin iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá ọlọ́fíìsì kéékèèké ilé ìtura ilé ìgbafẹ́ ilé ẹgbẹ́ gbogbo nílé lóko lódò lẹ́yìn odi tó fi dórí ilé ìwòsàn sólà lẹ nílò nírú àsìkò yìí o èròjà Novẹ́ Solar ń bẹ nílẹ̀ díẹ̀ bìbà lówó tẹ́ńbẹ́lẹ̀ solar panel inverter battery tó lálòpẹ́ kárin kése solar kit solar generator tó ń fúnni lágbára iná solar bore system tó ń fami nínú kànga solar street light solar fan iná solar kéékèèké tó ń charge phone batteries bágbára bá ṣe ká ni o àròyé kò síná tó ìrọ̀rùn ni wọ́n fúnra rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú solar pè wọ́n bọ̀ nílò solar tàbí kàn sí wọn lọ́fíìsì wọn ń bàdàn Akíndélé plaza opposite Adamasegba stadium Èkó tẹ̀lú Ìbàdàn telephone 08117998798. tó àsìkò yìí Novest Solar lọ́rọ̀ kan.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
All right, you're welcome back to Break It On People's Review here on 32 FM 94.9. And it's right about time to open the phone lines and also take your comments on our socials. We have our first caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I'm John. Thank you, Austin. But I don't want to make a correction when you mentioned Nnamdi Kanu. Though the matter is in the court, it can be success at the political solution. And maybe this is what I know. Even though it is case in the court, political solution is effective. And how will it come? The Attorney General of the Federation relying on Section 174, particularly from Section 3. That is for the interest of justice and for public interest. The case can be withdrawn. It gives the Attorney General enormous power to continue or discontinue any criminal case against any Nigerian. Remember that was how Danjuma Kute, who was having the allegation of corruption hanging on his neck at the Federal High Court in New York, running into billions of naira because he has been dealing with the ADC then. The charges against him were withdrawn on that day, and they told him go home and pay no more. That leads to prayer emergency of the former Senate president. I'm talking that one. And concerning this river, my question is that what is the status of the so-called stakeholder? Do we have a stakeholder in the constitution? And I've said it, there is evidence that Kubara was coerced to sign that document. Here is a man who said he was ready to die for the river state. If that is so, no clear evidence to indicate that the Kubara was forced to sign that document. It's only Kubara that can tell the nation if he signed that document under duress. If not, let this.
All right, the line is wobbling there. We hope that we actually got a particular message. All right, the numbers for you to call are 070-550-949 or 080-979-949. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. We are getting feedback from your end. Can you just turn down?
It's Shola from Iwo.
All right, please go ahead, Shola.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Some of us were blaming. Hello?
Can I hear you, Shola? Please go ahead, Shola.
Okay. Some of us were blaming Atiku for not taking Wike as the vice president. Can you imagine this? Amnesty made Wike to be the governor. Did he do this then? About whether the Kubara was forced to sign. He said this. He said there was no price that is too much to pay. The price is the first. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. And of course, the numbers are still 070-550-949 or 080-970-949. For international audience, +234 9062 949. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Happy weekend.
Same to you.
John Olarajo is on the line.
Okay.
Actually, I'm agreeing with Austin about the river prices. Yes, Kuzara is not a kid. So coming out to tell us that you sign under duress, to me, I did not agree. I don't agree with him. You are not a government. You have to know what is good for you and what you want. If you cannot stand on your feet, people of River State are the ones that are standing for you. You as a governor need to stand that this is what you want in your state. They will be on that it was Wike that helped you to get there. But not to stand it, that's how the Nigeria's Nigeria system used to play. Somebody will help you get there. And if they help you get there, and if the problem is too much, you can't stand on your feet. Whatever that may happen, you must ready to confront it and to take it like that. To let the Fubara himself stand on his feet and to know what he wants. That's my own opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. We go over to Facebook and also take some comment before calling it a day this morning. Ayo Fagbemi on Facebook says, what Tinubu is doing to poor Nigerians now is worse than Emefiele. Emefiele tries just to make the current government look good. The president and many of his appointees are also part of Buhari's wars. All right. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. People are saying this is still Abuja. After you finish Abuja, you go to stay in Abuja for life. You have to structure in River State. When Mubarak was saying, the governor knew that he cannot withstand UK dictation. If you have, it's not the best governor to be the governor of the River State. You know, for a whole year, more than a full year, this governor stay in government house. When the people were not looking for him. He is a man of integrity. He should invite EFCC to university to come and utilize, come and screen the account of university in the last 4 years. This woman is an accountant general of university. I know for sure he has not resigned or retired as accountant general because he was nominated as governor. People now blame me. When I know that you will be speaking to me, I will not get over.
All right, Sean, we must say thank you for that. And the last one we're taking on Facebook, Kazim Olawale says, somebody also promoted and helped Wike to power and never obeyed any godfather. Tinubu resolution is mischievous and wicked because he's not a Democrat. Fubara should petition all the devilish resolutions and do his own government the way he like. All right, Austin, before we leave, any last word from you this morning?
Yes, Amechi did not make Wike governor. It was Jonathan and his wife, especially the impatient Jonathan, that made Wike the governor of Rivers State. As at the time Wike became governor, himself and Amechi, they were no longer in the same political party. Amechi made him chief of staff at some point. That is just by the way. Then for those who are canvassing, whichever way, the governor must tread softly, must exercise caution. Wike too must be very careful. I want to also wish our Christian brethren Merry Christmas in advance, because by the time we meet again, Christmas will be belated. Yes, Christmas will be belated at that time. Let us celebrate wisely and also reach out to those that are vulnerable. Let's minister to people. Let's show love at this time. God bless Nigeria. God bless Oyo State.
All right, Austin, thank you so much for doing this with us. My name is Gbolabo Famous School, and it has been Breaking Down People's Review here on 32 FM 94.9. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Baba Fendo is next.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the guest analyst and do not necessarily reflect the recommendation